evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson's Insight. Happy Monday. As we've often noted on this show, because it's hard not to notice, we are living in one of those moments where so much is happening all at once and information about it all is so tightly controlled that huge history-changing events can occur, and in fact are occurring right now, and nobody seems aware of them. It's pretty unsettling, actually. Here's one example. Europe is descending into poverty. Did you know that? Had someone told you that? So the most advanced continent on the planet, the birthplace of Western civilization, our civilization, is getting much poorer very quickly. It's moving backward at high speed. Just a year ago, Europe was a modern place. For example, the overwhelming majority of Europeans heated their homes with natural gas, as modern people do. In Germany, the continent's richest country, only about 6% of households, most of them rural, heated with cordwood. And you'd expect that, given that, again, Germany is a modern industrialized country with central heating and indoor plumbing and all the other trappings of a society that has moved beyond the medieval period. Last year, only about 6% of Germans used wood to heat their homes, but that has changed dramatically. Demand for firewood in Germany has risen so fast that there is none left to buy. You can't get it. So desperate Germans are now cutting their own wood, scouring the forests like their ancestors for sources of heat. Watch.
Some in Germany are taking matters into their own hands with solutions that might look like a blast from the past. About 2 hours outside Berlin, residents of this small town have turned to wood chips for fuel. We have to be innovative, said the project's organizer. If we don't act and just rely on the government to solve the crisis, we'll never succeed. This burner will soon fuel most of this village of 60 people.
One answer is the bounce back from the pandemic.
You saw tech companies, major firms moving to smaller cities, cities like Pittsburgh, Austin, San Antonio, Charlotte. These are cities that really started booming because workers had more flexibility. And when the city starts booming, of course, the rents go up because it's a supply and demand issue.
But the story goes back further than that, all the way back to the Great Recession.
President Obama, are you listening?
This has been building really since the end of the financial crisis back a little over a decade ago. A lot of communities have made it more difficult to build more homes closer to the urban cores. Building materials, particularly lumber, has been in short supply. That's been a problem. Labor, a lot of people left the construction trades in the housing bust back a decade ago. And because of changes in foreign immigration laws, we have a lot fewer foreign immigrants coming into the country. Many of those folks would work in the construction trades. Also, a lot of smaller builders, they rely on loans from banks. And since the financial crisis, banks, particularly smaller banks, mid-sized banks, have been unable to, because of regulatory changes and other reasons, unable to provide enough loans. So, there's a melange of things going on here.
After the financial crash of 2008, house building stalled. By the end of the tens, renters had fewer options, especially in real estate hotspots.
Pre-COVID, we saw a huge rush to urban centers. Millennials love to live in cities longer. They were actually living there longer than the previous generations their age had because they weren't able to get out and afford to buy homes because home prices were so high. So you had so much demand in the cities.
Then the pandemic hit.
So if you look at some of the high-rise apartment buildings in the really dense central business districts, the big cities, rents were actually declining in the first 12 months of the pandemic.
But smaller cities like Phoenix and Austin received more of those remote workers. That sent prices upward for people like Maria.
Right now, I would say for a studio is probably $2,000. This place, it's a one bedroom, was originally set at $1,700 when I first moved in.
Maria is a teacher and needs to commute to work every day. She and many other Americans don't have the luxury to move further away from work to save cash. That's creating wider issues in the economy.
There's a lot of evidence that the lack of housing closer to where the demand is in urban cores is having a meaningful negative consequence on long-term economic growth. So if we can...
Hi, it's Tisha Paul, Breaking Money and House News. Now that we're going to analyze the commentators, you heard what Tucker Carlson said. Europe is getting poor. So is America. America is following Europe with the socialism. So that is the connection. That's the correlation I'm trying to show you. Europe is fighting Climate change, so is America. Whatever Europe is using its money to do, America is following. That's why we owe the 32 trillion. Climate change, diversity, woke culture, transgender, all that costs money. To print books telling little kids that they are not a girl or a boy, they're whoever they want to be, it costs trillions of dollars to do that. To brainwash a child, it costs millions of dollars. So we are following Europe, and so we will be Europe. We'll be broke too. And did you see what CNBC said? Why housing costs so much in the United States? You see, the Dodd-Frank, when President Obama was in office, he created this really tight lending standard called the Dodd-Frank. He extended it. And he said he was punishing big banks, but he punished the people because now you need at least 10% down in 2020 to buy a home. That's why Wall Street came up and swoop up 22% of the single families because they were not subject to Dodd-Frank. Only citizens and residents and anybody who bought property in America was subject to Dodd-Frank, but not corporations that went in cash. So the government hurt us, it didn't help us. And even today, Dodd-Frank is hurting the housing market. That's why houses cost $430,000 today, and a townhome costs $250,000. You should try to get yourself a townhome, 1,300 square feet. Try FHA. There are 4,800 banks in the United States. You're going to need minimum 3 or 4% down. So you need to figure out 4% or $250,000. You can no longer rely upon the United States government to support you. They're on the hook for 32 trillion. This is why the average American owes 32,000 in credit card, 15,000 in credit card, which we've got to get rid of. That's bad debt. 32,000 in car loan. You've got to get rid of that. We're not coming out of this inflation. The government isn't telling us. So you just have to use common sense. There's no way the United States government can pay back for $32 trillion. Nobody can do that. That's way too much. Even if they pay back for it, it's going to take over 100 years. So yes, they might pay back for it, but it will cost 100 years to pay back. So with that said, prices are going to remain the same. I know inflation is here to stay. This is the new norm. So we need to stop talking about being in an inflation because this is what America is like. So go ahead and start investing your money, saving your money, and cut debt down. I don't believe what Dave Ramsey said is possible anymore. You cannot get out of debt. You have to cut debt down. Good debt is a mortgage. Bad debt is credit card, car payment, and student loan. The average person owes $38,000 for student loan. Back to housing and money. Look into XRP, it's at 0.63 today. Look into Bitcoin, it's at 29,000. Anybody can buy XRP or Bitcoin. Look into the top stocks, Google, Amazon, PayPal, Facebook. Look into those. Look into starting an online business. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Amazon, Shopee, Airbnb. Rent a room out. Buy a place and rent one of your rooms out to help pay your mortgage. You can buy real estate in the United States. Look into townhomes. They are $250,000 averaging. Get an FHA loan or a conventional loan, which 5% down. Save your money. Go and sell your car, or start a business, but come up with the 5% and go and get a loan. You go to your lender and you ask them for a mortgage. Do a loan application. Show them your 3 months of bank statement and your 2 years of tax return, but try to get a pre-approval for a mortgage. It's still a good investment to have a home in America. The stock market, look at Google, Apple, Facebook, look at the top stocks. They are still good investments in America. The cap rates are in the trillions. Apple is in the trillions for cap rate. So is Google, trillions. Those are strong stock. People said the stock market is rigged, but the credit card isn't. Come on, you owe credit card, but you don't own stocks. You need to start owning stocks in America. You need to start owning a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of XRP. There is nothing wrong in owning the top 3 cryptos in America. Nothing is wrong with that, and nothing is illegal about that. We need to stop saying XRP is illegal. You can own XRP, you can own Bitcoin. Go on PayPal. You can buy Bitcoin on PayPal. Look into Airbnb, look into Amazon, look into Shopee. YouTube channel. The average person is making $3,000 a month from an online business, owning Amazon or Shopee store, Amazon, selling for Amazon, or YouTube channel. They're making $3,000 a month. Look into TikTok and Facebook and look into buying real estate. I'm Tisha Paul. We'll see you another time. Folks, hit that free like and that free subscribe button. We'll be back to talk more. And we just want to say, yes, this news is reality. What CNBC said about the housing market is reality. And what Tucker Carlson on Fox said about poverty in Europe is reality. And sadly, poverty came to America as well, with over 500,000 homeless people in California. And in New York, there's 69,000 homeless people. Where did the $32 trillion go? We're going to go ahead and tell you more. But folks, it's time for you to rely upon yourself and stop relying upon the government. We'll be back with more tomorrow.